enclave here. It's been a treat, ladies and gentlemen. We've done a Gen Z conversation once again. So if you thought that college was young, let's get even younger. Let's listen into what the next generation has to say. Joining us now is Vanya Shukla, who's a university student, Sabita Sharma, who's also a university student, and Ramya Kapoor, who is in class 12. And having a conversation with them will be Savri Jindal, who borderline millennial / Gen Z. We'll go Gen Z. And as Devika has already pointed out, she's on the millennial side of Gen Z. Haha. So I promise you, a couple of years down the line, we'll have Gen Alpha involved as well. Grab a seat, guys. Devika, over to you.
Please join us. And I don't know if my age keeps getting exposed over and over again with this Gen Z, millennial Gen Z. So let's try to put a lid on this, please. But thank you so much to to everyone here. We hardly get to speak to very young women, right? And unless we're talking about something very specific, whether you belong to like a specific state or a specific art. For example, we had Shriya with us, who's an F4 racer, India's first woman racer. And we've just had Sneh Rana, we've had Meghna Singh. So they're all coming from a sports background, and that's a very different conversation. But because of everything that's happened in the recent past, a lot of focus, and rightly so, is now on the younger generation. So I'm going to firstly ask you to use this platform really and tell us what you genuinely think. Because even though the questions may sound a little complicated sometimes, but we genuinely just want to know what's going on in Gen Z's head. I think that's the flavor of the town, because no one can figure out this particular generation that's grown up with so much exposure to social media and also to I would say to, information in a way. A lot of information is on your fingertips. So let me begin with Vanya, if I can. Vanya, what makes Gen Z Gen Z?
I think that what makes Gen Z Gen Z is that we have a very fast-paced life, and we don't stick to one thing for too long. We do have a limited attention span, so we tend to move from one thing to the other very quickly. And I think that is something that sets us a bit apart.
So lower attention spans. Ramya, what about you? What do you think? What makes your generation special, unique, and what are some of the defining factors?
I think, as you said, our generation has been exposed to so much information, so many ideas, beliefs from different cultures in like all the parts of the world. So I think Gen Z can't be constrained, and Gen Z has to just flow.
Gen Z has to just flow. That is such a sweet Gen Z answer you've given me. It's polite and nice. Sabita, in your, how would you define your generation?
So, first of all, hello everyone. And for me, I think Gen Z is the generation which likes to notice everything and which wants responses to everything, like, why are you doing what you are doing? And it's the first generation to ever question such, they want authenticity over control, over, you can say, perfection. So, I think that's
somewhere, and I'm going to bring in my Gen Z co-anchor here as well on that, Asavri, that somewhere I do agree with that the younger generation does accept flaws and imperfections way better than we did. I belong to a generation where perfection was everything, and not just in the way you look, but how you speak, how you sit, the way you carry yourself, everything we were doing to mold ourselves into this very, very perfect human being. And I'm not sure if that works, but Savri, let's take your thoughts as well as a Gen Z person, then you can ask the next question.
I think Gen Z is very woke. We speak our mind, and that's truly special because I don't think it's happened so often in the past. But you know, on that front, I do want to understand from you, Rania, because the craze is the Gen Z lingo. We've spoken about the Lulu Sululu, so on and so forth, so much so that even politicians have adopted it. What do you make of it? Do you think it's become a language of its own?
I think every generation has a language of its own. Our generation has picked up the language that we've grown up hearing. So Western media, the movies we watch, the music we hear, all of this plays a very major role. I think about the language that we use, now we see on roads, buses, public transportation, the language is very much direct. It's less polite. And that's the language of the Gen Z.
That's also the language of Delhi, by the way. Delhi is very direct and very much not polite.
And
Please go ahead.
to add, politicians and different people who we don't expect to use words like clock it and all of that, I feel like there's a very clear distinction between how to talk to Gen Z and how to talk like Gen Z. So that needs to be acted upon properly.
That's a great point. So Sabita, let me bring you in on that because as Asabri pointed out, it was for the first time in my career as a journalist, I watched in Parliament politicians making such an effort. They've never done it for any other generation as they have for this one, trying to really use the words. And there's this whole concept कि आपकी reel बनेगी, आप meme बन जाओगे. So you get that sort of you're able to then connect more. The more you are on Instagram and reels, etc. And we're seeing that with, for example, someone like a Ravi Kishan, who's also a member of parliament, but he's so popular on Instagram right now. But somewhere, do you find it relatable when someone of another generation uses your generation's lingo? Or do you find it a little bit cringe?
So at first it is amusing for us that, oh my god, this generation is using our lingos and okay, but it might seem a bit unprofessional at points, and I guess we should not lose our professionalism just because a generation is noticing us and we'll go trending on reels. So that's a bit cringe part for me.
Okay, Vanya, what do you think about that?
So I think that it's not about I want to appeal to the Gen Z, so I want to make a reel. If a leader or a politician wants to appeal to the Gen Z and wants to be, a leader for the Gen Z, then you should focus not on how to speak like us or act like us or do social media like us, but on what we actually want. Your job is to do something for the nation and for our future, not to talk like us on social media. So
Good point.
what we want is like better infrastructure, better things for our future rather than just saying clock it online.
Oh, okay. So better infrastructure, and you don't have to all the politicians out there, अगर आप देख रहे हैं, अगर आप नेता हैं, please clock it. What else did they say? MIA and FOMO and all of that. You don't have to say it. It's okay. It's absolutely okay to not know it also. But as our Gen Z panelists are pointing out, they too, like all the other generations before them, just want you to get the work done. That's all.
But Devika, I have to say something over there. Gen Z is the best at putting their point across in 60 seconds. And that's what we've seen through Reels. Sabita, I do want to understand from you, is that a formula, the 60-second formula, is it going to stay for good across fields? And do you think everyone's going to be adopting it?
Okay, so like Vanya mentioned, low attention span. It is actually something very problematic to look at for. But, if you see a video of say 30 seconds, and if it's the same video but it's for 60 minutes, which one will you choose to watch?
Shorter one. We're all there.
There's the answer that it will get adapted because we don't have time. We are just traveling in the metro and we are looking at our phones. Oh, 30 seconds, I can watch it. But same video for 30 minutes, I will miss my station.
No, as Gen Z, I agree. 60 seconds is what I also like to stick to. Vanya, I do want your perspectives on that as well.
I think we are a generation that's really fast-paced, like I said before, and we move on from things really fast. Even now, when we look at a 60-second video, we still pay it on 2x. we don't just play it at the normal pace. So I think that it's ever changing. I don't think we'll stick to it. Maybe we're sticking to it right now, but maybe we would want a 15-second video later on. So I can't say that I think it's something that would stay.
Yeah, and that was essentially the birth of a TikTok, right? Because you wanted to go shorter and shorter, and now there are platforms that are operating on 5-second videos. I personally don't understand कि 5 second में आप क्या बना सकते हो, but I'm sure there's a whole generation out there to prove me and others wrong on that front as well. But let me bring Rania back into the conversation. Rania, the reason why I'm saying that is because obviously, like I said, a little bit, more old school. So I do prefer myself a slightly longer format. Am I the sort of person who will watch a documentary so that I can really know something in depth? Yes. But I know that that's not true. But from your generation's point of view, where are you guys getting your news from? Where are you getting your everyday knowledge from then?
So firstly, I would like to give an example. So during the Jantar Mantar protest, I think a lot of my friends, my whole friend group was getting information mainly from memes. So this meme culture, which is no longer videos, it's just 1-second photos, and you get a lot of information. But this information is modified, it's influenced by so many external factors. And for everyday information, I think social media plays a very major role, but I feel like that's also transitioning back to the traditional sources, because there's so much misinformation. While I was researching, like while doing school projects, there's so much information and most of it is false. So please, let's rely on credible sources, articles, research papers, newspapers. That's what we want.
Sabita, is that something that you face with your friends group as well, where, like Vanya pointed out, and I know that this is a very real problem, that there is a lot of misinformation online as well. So do you feel that somewhere your generation does struggle with that, on actually, you have an unprecedented access to information, but also to disinformation, misinformation at the same time. So do you feel somewhere it's really a struggle to know what's the truth?
I agree. I totally agree because, like she said, meme is the first source. And once you search about the meme on the Google, then there are links following that, and we don't know which one is true actually. So I will suggest that, like she said, articles, newspapers, because there you have a trustful source that the news is coming from. And on social media, they want to influence you. That's what social media does, right? So if you have a biased opinion, then you will get all of the content in your favor only. What's your mindset about?
Can I just add to that?
Yeah, please.
But at the same time, I feel like media has also, in a certain sense, lost its true essence. Like, I don't think it's the same what it used to be 20 years ago. So we must, we have to go back to a proper democratic country.
Any
I think
tips
that's
for
very
us?
important. I think just bias, to remove the bias, that's something that we all aim to do.
I do want to actually understand from you, Vanya. It's a quick rapid fire, essentially. What are the 3 words that you would like to say when I ask you what are you looking for in the next leaders of India and the world?
Accountability, transparency, and we want to know that you've heard us.
Sabita, what about you?
So I would say empathy and the capability of understanding what we really want and delivering it on time.
Wow, those are very, very strong. What about you, Rania?
I think I would like my leader to be educated, to have enthusiasm, to do work not just for the sake of doing work, not just for the sake of the name of the doing work, but to do it because they want to, for the welfare of our society and for the welfare of India.
And my last question to all of you. How would you want people of a different generation to be able to relate to you and also make you understand their point of view? For example, anyone that could also be, applicable to politicians today. Because like I said, everyone seems to be trying really hard coming into formats and, working with formats that they think work best with your generation, but they may not be getting the point across. So what would be your tips to the leaders of today and tomorrow? How should they really put their point across to you in a way that resonates with you best?
I think don't make it so complicated. Generations are something that change all the time, right? A couple years back, people would say the same thing about millennials, or say that, oh, I don't know how to understand this generation, or what we can think about it now, maybe a couple years from now, we won't understand about Gen Alpha, So it's not about, oh, we really want to relate to them, we really want to be like them, we really want to understand what they want. Just stick to the basic principles of what a society would want, rather than sticking to, I should go on social media and I should research on exactly why the Gen Z is like this or why they want this.
Okay. With that, we of course come to an end of this very interesting and important discussion. I do want to say that we've asked you very tough questions and you've all answered them very gracefully. Thank you so much.
And very diplomatically. Well done. Let me chip in a bit before the girls leave. NewsX, the average age of the journalist is 25. One is sitting with you, and it's 70% girls. So I used to be a youth activist when I was younger, in the kurta and jeans and being lathi charged. And now I wear a suit and tie, and I get where it comes from when you think it's bias. Because one side tells us you're Lutyens, Delhi Khan Market gang, other side says you're all Bhakt media, Godi media. As long as everybody think you're biased, you're probably doing fine. Thank you guys. It was such a treat to listen to you. And we hear you for the past couple of weeks at 9 o'clock debates. And I don't, if you watch TV, but we stream on YouTube. All students, young people. No netas, nobody, just students. Because as a youth activist, same problem. Nobody's listening to us. Somebody takes a decision but doesn't listen to us.
Actually, I would like to point it out that when I got the invite, I went to your Instagram page and I saw the kind of news you posted and I was impressed. So that.
Yay!
There we have it.
Yay.
Siddharth, that's a reel for us.
We do TV also, yay. Okay, all right. Thank you guys. This was a treat. Let's have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's to have erudite voices that you know that the future of your country is safe 10, 20 years from now when 2047 actually rolls around. All that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, speak.